Dr. Muneerah Kuraishi. I'm basically a naturopath. I advocate complete effortless living by nature. And I've been in practice from last 12 years. Now, before we start with this session, do you know what is the topic for today's session? Kalp, the ritual and revolution for sexual health. Okay? Now I would like to differ a little bit. Instead of doing normally when we have session, we have sort of a talk, or we communicate into something like we are talking about what exactly that topic is about, what way you can tackle it, and what would be the pros and cons of that particular situation and all. Now here I would like to differ it in the way because I feel sexual health is such a basic parameter of a person's life. And instead of me giving you the definition or me giving you the results or what you should be doing it, all of you have experience or all of you are in a situation where you can define your parameters and basic problem or basic one particular factor that you would like to concentrate on, okay, or what would be your desire to improve in your sexual health. You'll be just concentrating on that only. Is that fair enough? Instead of me giving you the definition of sexual life, sexual health has to be this way, this has to be that. We are all grown-up people. So let's not talk about, okay, what way female reproductive organ take place, what are the problems which are associated with the male reproductive organ, what are the problems that we have it and all. That becomes too immature-ish. So if you are working if you are sitting in an environment as a mature individual, first tell me what do you understand from a sexual health, and how many of you would say whatever life or whatever you can say whatever would be the span of earth over here, but you have really enjoyed your sexual life completely. Or you would say it has been a lot of grievances. Come in, please. It has been a journey which has been difficult. Instead of being a journey, it has been always a halt, a station where you wanted to start, but instead of reaching on or proceeding towards a goal or reaching or starting with your journey or your train, you would have been always held up here and there. Okay? So can we start? Who would like to start? I've been just telling, instead of having a conversation about me defining you what exactly a sexual health is and what are the problems which are associated with that, let's define what are the things that you have feel or you have experiences, and what is the thing that you would like to concentrate right now at this age, after after involved into a sexual relationship or having your journey with your spouses or with your husband for a number of years, if I'm not mistaken, is that you can say that the relationship or that journey has been really fruitful, or it has been just so and so, it has been nothing to be worth about. Is my question clear? Okay, let me start.
Basically, it's personal thing, it happens.
Okay, let's do it.
Very personal.
It's a very personal question, no doubt about it. But my point is why I'm asking this question. Let's understand that.
I would say none of your business.
Nah, that's true. That's none of my business. What you do in your life, that's how could it be a matter of it? Which should be concerned to me, right? Okay. Now suppose now this is my canvas, or this is my blackboard. Now I say I'm going to draw a painting. Okay, here rising sun, here you have that rivers, here you have bows, what childhood may used to get paintings. Here there is a boy, there is a girl standing over here. Okay, now you would say we want to start on a particular topic, okay, which is related with your sexual health. Now, what would be the first thing that everybody would say your sexual health would depend upon what? let me ask you questions so that it becomes easier. Your sexual health depends upon what? What factors? What are the factors which can give you a fruitful or a happy sexual life? Okay? What are the factors which can constitute a happy sexual life?
Virility.
Okay, very.
Yes, I guess. But the question that you raised, I could say something on that because no one said.
No, that's right. It's good. At least you broke the ice. That's very good about it. Okay, at least you broke the
No,
ice.
but that was not the point. I mean, I could answer what you had said initially.
Yeah, tell me
So-
what you want to contribute to that.
I'd say I got into self-pleasure, and I had no sexual education. So after many years of self-pleasure, I got into yoga, and I found out it's not good, ideally.
Okay.
So I'm working on sublimation of the sexual instinct instead of repression. So I'd like
Okay.
to know more about that.
Okay, that's not a topic for the time being. That's not the topic. Right now we are talking about actual sexual
Okay.
health. Fulfilling, your desires and having a complete reproductive and a sexual life. We are not talking about suppressing your desire
No, not
and
suppressing.
turning. Sublimation and all is not the topic for the time. I'll discuss with you maybe, but right now that's not the concern for us.
But basically, in all personal matters, it is controlled by the society and the religion, right? So that control, what is it? That controlling, that sublimation of this country.
It depends on.
I think either what I'm saying that is not being clear to you or what you all are saying.
It
That's not
depends.
getting that's not
It
getting
depends on the mood, on with whom I am having an affair. Okay.
That's true. With whom? That's right. that's obviously a personal
This
choice.
physical and mental health is
Yes.
incomplete without sexual health. And sexual involves emotions and feelings and all. Without that, it was again dry.
That's right.
That's
That's a
good.
very good point. A very good point which you have put forward.
I don't think mental comes in
Yeah,
that
yes,
way.
very much. It comes in.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Compatibility, you can say. The tuning of your how far you are tuned with your partner. Whether that's your marital one or that's the extramarital one, that does not matter. It's basically the things which matter is your tuning with your partner, right? But still nobody has really come
But
to
tuning with the partner means, like for instance, like with the partner, you may not be in a friendly terms, but in a sexual relation, you may be enjoying more with that partner.
That's right. That's true. Yeah, that's true. Maybe you do not have a particular relationship or particular bonding as a particular, you can say,
Emotional
yeah,
bonding.
maybe from the society or from the other prospect and all, but still because you're comfortable with that person, because you like that particular person, you may be having a very good tuning with person, probably in a physical intimacy. See, let me try to make it a bit simpler. I think this thing is getting a little bit heavier, and we are getting into a process which is neither you are understanding nor I'm understanding. See, the human being has got this exclusive quality of doing enjoying sex not only for recreation but even for indulgence, as a play or as just a pleasure. No other animal, no other species on the earth does sex or intimate without procreation. Okay, so this is an additional quality that we human has got. So obviously this is an intimate sphere. So if you are talking about and obviously when you're talking about this is an intimate sphere, you got to be, first thing is that you got to be in tune with your person, with your partner. Second thing, you got to be in tune with your own body. The first thing which I always emphasize on, okay, body intunement. Let me make you understand what is the meaning of intunement of the body. Okay. Now suppose, okay, body intunement means what? If you have a system, suppose you have lots of fluctuation in your sugar, you have fluctuation in your blood pressures, your knee pains, you have all sort of medical physiological or the chronic issue, would you be in a position to perform well? Right? No. So that means if you want to have a good sexual health, you need to have a good physical body also. Is it right? Simply, I'll try to make it as simple as possible. If your physical body, okay, if you do not have a pain, aching joints, okay, fluctuation in your body composition or body's element, then only you would be in a position to enjoy sex. Okay, then only you would be in a position to make an attempt also for it. Okay? So now what way you can make sure that your physical body is really in the right position to give you a better chance in the sexual or the reproductive part. That way we put just this into 3 parts. 1, 2 and 3. Anybody can tell me if you want to say, like, you know, my physically, like, how would you say? Suppose at the age of 18 or at the age of 21 you got married, what was the first parameter that you looked out in your spouse or in your partner, in your husbands? What was the first thing that you looked out? If you have gone to see a girl or if you've gone to see a boy and you found that boy is, like, you know, not walking properly and he's coughing a lot or he's not in a position to communicate properly, would you be in a position to say yes to that particular person? No. Why? Because you would say, now he is so weak right now, so what will be his condition later on, right? So यहाँ पे हम 3 factors हम लोग important देते हैं. First is circulation. Second is, now we are coming on to the technologies or the technical part of a sexual or the reproductive life. Circulation, endocrine system, and your evacuation or elimination. Let it put it simply. Okay, now how would you say, like, you know, what way circulation or what way endocrine system is important? You know what is endocrine system responsible for in your body? Sorry? Hormones. Endocrine systems are responsible for bringing about all the different hormones which are supposed to be represented for different sort of physiological, psychological or mental functioning of your body. So what happens when your circulation is strong enough? When I say circulation is strong, means your body is free of, like, you know, toxins, and when you do not have any toxic level or any fluctuation of all this blood pressure and the other things, or normal whatever could be the thing which should put a load onto your system. When your circulation is strong enough, your endocrine system works well. Okay, and when your endocrine system works well, your hormones are released. The neurotransmitter release hormones in your body. Now, male would be, like, you know, represented with the different hormones, and the female would be representing with the different hormones. That's not the topic. But there would be a proper healthy proportion of hormone in your body, and this healthy proportion of hormones would be responsible for elimination also. Your bowel system also should be clear. So what happens when you get involved into a fruitful, or you say, like, you know, a sexual relationship which has been mutually agreed upon? Okay, it's very light for your body. After doing that sex, you feel very light, and then afterward, whatever is the body fluid, that has to be excreted. Okay, if this fluid is not excreted, what would happen? Then it will give rise to all sort of STD and all sort of infectious and the contagious diseases and the other problems. So first thing is that if you want to have a proper sexual life, be sure that after your relationship, your body is fluid, whatever it is, semens or whatever is the discharge which occurs out of your body, that has to be totally pushed out of your system. It should not remain there. If this remains there, it will give you all sort of problem which could be related with right from anything, maybe an infection, or you can say something like what do you call it, infection, or maybe something like, on the later side it may give rise to chronic issues like cancers also, right? So this part has to be very, very well understood. Now, how do you say, suppose many times what happens, your sexual process is not complete. In that process, your body's fluid which comes out is not completely out on a particular part. It's either some parts remains inside your organ. Okay? So in all that cases, when your body's fluid is not completely thrown out of the system, you need to dry, or you need to take care of it, or you need to do some external procedure or system. You have to apply some external system which will stop or which will take care of this fluid completely thrown out of your body. You get it? So what do we suggest in that case? I'm not talking from problem to problem, okay, this is a problem that you should be doing it. I'm talking a general review of problems which occurs after a proper after a relationship. Now suppose this fluid is not being out. So first thing is that normally what we do, we just wash up. Okay, you just wash up your area, or you wash up the entire body. But that washing up is not really good enough. We say you have to do, there is something which is known as a bath, or spatial medicated. We don't go for most of the things which are medicated. We say it's something like neem or tulsi enema, because they have got the highest quality to destroy the bacteria or any sort of infection which could arise after such interaction. Get it? Now, once you have done that, any incomplete relationship would always results into arguments. Okay, it could be from your side or it could be from your partner's side. So now relationship issues are there. Okay, how would you tackle that? The first thing is that I would start blaming the other person would start blaming me, because this is because you have not given me a chance, or I'm so tired, I'm so exhausted, whatever is the reason. So what would you try to do at this time? If you are having argument, obviously there would be many times with your partners and you would have got into severe arguments and all. So what would you have done? Now you don't want to get into argument, you just want to avoid the argument. So what do you do at that particular time? Just turn the other side and go to sleep. The best Indian style of avoiding.
Best thing is ceasefire.
Sorry?
Ceasefire.
Ceasefire is कब होगा? वो तो आप you turn that way and the other person, your wife will turn on the other way. So that's obviously,
Basically an argument starts when there is no communication.
But see, in many times, when you are having a sexual relationship, your communication is incomplete. You do not have a complete,
No, I mean oral communication. I think not speaking well, not able to communicate.
See, many times, in this rate, I can tell you in this particular instance, everyone has a different need. Your need would be different and your partner's need would be different. And many times, no matter how good and how enjoyable the relationship is, there would be many times where both of you would result into arguments, or you would feel I'm not satisfied, she would feel I've not been satisfied. So now there is a point where where both of you are not done to the level where you could have satisfied each other. So there is a sort of heat, or there is a sort of what do you call it? Frustration है आपके अंदर. So what would you do to avoid it? Suppose ये frustration आप इस वक्त नहीं निकालोगे.
Take her out for dinner.
Okay, that's a very good thing, but you can't take her out immediately.
You're looking at
Probably next day, or the coming time when you would be conveniently located. See that they would be both of you are under the influence of lot of emotional turbulence. So at this time you have to release that emotional gutter or that emotional supplements which you are having in your body. Because if that is not released, that again would be very toxic, or that would be really harming you, because you would not be in position to focus your energy for any work. Even she would not be in a position to focus her energy for any work. So till that time, maybe you are taking her out, probably okay, fine, the very next day. But that the very next day, probably you'll go to office, come back and by another 14, 15 hours. Why do you want that heat to be like, just be there into your body? So what you can do it at this particular time? Tell me whatever comes into your mind. There's nothing 2 plus 2, 4. Whatever comes into your mind, you can contribute to that.
Flexible to each other's will.
Yes, that's what the thing is. Okay, at this time you have to show you are flexible to her need or to, okay, her desire. Correct? And how could you do that? How could you do that? See, understand most of the problem, I would say 80, not even 80, 90% of the problem which occurs in a marital or out of marital or whatever we call it, like in a sexual relationship, one point that is there, they are lack of communication, no doubt about it. But the problem does not arise because of this. The problem arises why? The problem arises that you have not communicated your desire or your understanding to your partner. But the thing is that we get adhered into it, we get stick to it. No, what I did was right, you did not listen to me. We had that judgmental issues, judgmental command. No, this has got to be this way only. Then we get frustration and we get stick to a particular way. See, I'm not here to guide you कि okay आपको बहुत ज़्यादा needs हो रही है तो आप जाइए हर रोज़ योगा कीजिए 2 घंटे meditation. I'm not that type of a person. See, whenever you are under sexual problems, your mind is so distracted, yoga, meditation and all. At least for the time till the mind gets that take that debris out of your mind, it won't work. So till the time your mind is cleared of that, the cloud, the whole cloud, what you would do? Okay, simplest thing. Okay, I said whatever you're doing, when you are getting into a relationship or when you are thinking about the moment of togetherness, then think about one thing. I'm sure you would come across this term the very first time in your life. And so just implement this from right today and you would see the change. Everyone is just, what is this? We are always boasting about your IQ. Oh, I have such a higher IQ and all. The problem occurs because we have stopped laughing. Okay, बच्चे कैसे होते हैं? Without any reason they laugh. Laugh at it now. Whatever incident has occurred, it is not that you were making a big canvas and all. You could always try. There is always a better day.
Is it quietened or quotient?
No, quotient. Laughter quotient. How would you say IQ? Okay, so same way I'm talking about a laughter quotient. Means you have to take
The
it.
spelling is quietened.
No, I have put it. How do you put it?
Q-U-O.
Q-U? Oh, sorry. Q-U-O.
Yeah.
Okay. Is it right?
Yep.
Okay. So the only thing is there, just laughing or just smiling at each other would solve the whole problem. You would be ready for the next attempt and your partner also would be ready for the next time without even obliging or being grateful to each other. So wouldn't it be better? See, it's like, how how you have the need for your food. Hi, come. Okay, how do you have the need for your food? Same way, once you have been matured and you have been, it's companionship. And a sex is the most powerful, form of companionship. Okay? And understand one thing. When you're talking about sex, it's not only about procreation. It's about understanding one thing. As you have come from from a child, like you have reached to a teenager, from a teenager you have transformed into an adult, from an adult you will transform into a silver citizen and all. Your basic transformation of your life, that is a teenage, which occurs, which transform you from a girl or from a child to a new identity, a new adult properly. That occurs physically at 16 and 18. But that whole transformation completes when you have a sexual relationship, either with your marriage or whatever way. I'm not communicating an extramarital affair and all. I'm just talking about a sexual relationship. Because that's the time the God has not sent us here for without a purpose. See, till the time you have come into your 18s and 20s, you are so much into yourself. Oh, I got this habit, I can do this, that and that. And you have lived all your life with your views, your opinions, with your capability and your strength. Here comes another person which has got altogether a different scenario, a different capability as that of yours. Do you understand that? So it's like 1 plus 1. When you sit down, you can make what? 1 plus 1. Right? But if you don't sit, what it will be? This would be 1, this would be 1. This won't make 2. It will make 100 and I say 1111, because there would be issues and this family is involved, that family is involved, that boy is involved, that this is involved. Okay, see, any sort of discrepancy always grows. The hatred, incompatibility, incompetence, always grow. And the basic thing is, no matter how good you are doing in your professional life, you would never be happy. Because sex is one factor. If it is done with the person of your choice, that can really bring about the best sort of happiness in your life. No doubt about it. And if it's done in marriage, I would say you have been having the greatest pleasure or the greatest bliss on the earth. Because you have a person who can listen to you, you have a person who can communicate to you, you have a person who can be at your side each and every time whenever you require, which never comes in any other relationship. Is it right?
Is it necessary that ego should be sacrificed?
I'm not talking about you keep your ego to not 1, I said you keep it to 7, but just laugh, you keep your ego.
Without,
No, 1 minute.
Yes,
For instance, you said laughter, no?
Huh.
Okay, after sex, one partner says, I'm not through. And you laugh? What will happen?
No, so that's what, see, what happens many times, that's what, because see, you are not true because you have not made an intent properly. Second thing, because you have been tired, because your wife didn't have the time, or because probably both of you are exhausted. So what you can do it in a time when you know both of you are exhausted and you are not sharing a good time. Instead of lengthening it and destroying each other's mood, why can't you postpone it for a little while? Maybe, probably, I would put it as this way. Suppose for the time being, I'm in the mood, but I feel not at this particular time. It's not occurring right enough. Probably you can rest for a while. You are there, obviously it's your wife. It's not that you have hired for 2 or 3, hours. Probably you can try after 2 or 3 hours. You get it? See, it's like if you know your fridge is full of food, is that necessary that you got to be empty it one day? See, it's a desire. It's like a food. But it may not you need to eat it at one go only. You can eat it as and when you're convenient, as and when your partner is convenient. See, how many times in so many years, and how many times you would have a very nice and a loving and a very passionate relationship. So just thinking about that, why can't you let it go once or twice? So every time you hit, you can't throw you can't just reach to the target. There are times when we miss out. Isn't it true? See, we need to understand things changes. As you were young, things were different. As you became a little bit old, more kids, more responsibility. As you grow a little bit older, then your choices, your personality, your choices, the wife is more occupied with the kids, or you're traveling, you are just come back after a flight, okay, you are tired, the jet lag, there are so many factors. See, I'm not giving you complete precisely. I can give you this session. Okay, come on, let's start with this is sexual reproduction. Now, if you do, these are the 5 things which will make how do you get it on every newspaper and magazine and every corner. 5 things to make your sexual life better. 10 things which you'll find in your kitchen which will make your libido. I find it so funny. It's such a intimate and such a precious part of your life, and we are taking it. Okay, I'll go to showroom. I'll buy a Barbie today. Next day I'll buy a Batman. Next day I'll buy something else. It's not so simple. Life is more complex, and whenever you talk about one thing, nothing comes as a separate unit. It's all a part of your living. It's all a part of your mentality. It's all a part of your governing and living your life. Do you get it? I didn't want it to complicate with you. I could give you a very good lecture about okay, if a sexual relationship is involved, testosterone has to be released in the female, estrogen level has to be a particular level. Then only you'd be in a position to have a good sexual life. Then afterwards your seminal fluid would be discharged and this would happen. And come on, you all are all a part of it. And it becomes so boring, whatever you have been involved. I can give you the technical terms, give me A to Z. I have done these lectures or for the number of people. We can go for it. But what is the ultimate sense? By the time you go back home, all the seminal fluids, sperms, ovaries, estrogen and testosterone are out of your life. Although they are very important for you. But when you'll go from here, today, you would remember what is the thing which really makes it different. What is the thing? Sometimes you need to give gap. Sometimes it's necessary to give to just turn your head overhead to stop arguments. Your child, it's just broken a window, and he has done the same thing maybe probably a month before. 10,000 का अभी 1 महीने पहले फटका लगा, अब 10,000 का वापस से 1 महीने के बाद फटका लगेगा. He is 10, 12, अभी आप उसको स्कोर करोगे, he is growing age. He'll get it he'll get very angry. What do? You try to do the things very mildly. There are situations which needs a proper manipulative of subtle way of handling. And understand this, sex is or a relationship is always understanding first and then getting into actions later. What do? I'm sorry to say, we would first get into an action, and then when something would go wrong, we'll think about, what happened? I don't think anybody would have really thought about it. First, when you're starting it, what way you should be doing it, what are the time limit that you will proceed to till the time, what are the things that you will do, especially to make your partner happy and all. Think something innovative. Try to do something which would make you also and him also better. So see, it's like you want to go to Pune. Your fuel does not have, your car does not have fuel till you can say metro also. Or probably VT also. How would you drive your car to Darkneshland? So then what we have discussed, your circulation and everything, circulation, your endocrine system and elimination comes in. And I would say, understand this thing first. This is a very serious part of your life. Don't raise I'm not bothered. After ego level kahin bhi ho, you said, why should I leave my ego level? My wife, so she thinks herself to be super smart and all. Even I'll leave, she would not be bothered about it. Don't be. You just you just do your share of laughing. And laughing is very contagious. There's no person, unless somebody is really out of the head. No person in the world, if you have laughed willingly and from the heart, the person would not communicate. Try it when you're going out from there. See, laugh at the stranger. They would also communicate. Maybe they would wonder why this man or this girl is laughing on me. There may be some people who would be having that strange, look which you can feel it. But yes, expression counts, and they retaliate. And they would be retaliated with the same force. Newton's law. Every action has an equal and opposite reaction. When you would surrender yourself, your wife, your partner would be more willing to do it. Remember, that's not a female which has just been here for 2 hours or 3 hours. She's been there, from years and years. She knows all the moves. She knows all the in and out of your body, of your, attitude, about everything more than what you know about. Don't you agree with that? Right? Okay. Then I was talking about this, I'm thinking about keeping your egos to up and down. What happens when you have a good level of ego? What happens? What would you do if your ego is up? What would you do?
Ignore the person.
Huh?
You tend to ignore the person.
What would happen? How long you can ignore? A month, 2 months, then basically you're back into the same place.
It's a kind of sacrifice by mutual
It's not
understanding.
a question of sacrifice.
By mutual understanding, not by forcing one party.
Sacrifice का तो लफ्ज़ ही नहीं आता. आप sacrifice को सोचते क्यों? See, I'll give you one example. अभी आज बहुत अच्छा दिन है, okay? No bank holiday. Most of the offices and most of things are not working. The schools are closed, colleges are closed, offices are closed and all. Then you decide, okay, it's a holiday. I'll take my wife to a movie. What would you do if you want to take her for a movie? What would you do if you want to take somebody for a movie?
Book the tickets
Book the tickets. And how would you book the ticket?
in advance.
But how would you book the ticket?
Money.
So money is what? Sacrificing? You're putting your effort, no?
Yeah.
You're putting that much loss you're doing now.
Okay, only sharing.
Okay, now let me come to it. Now you'll go to the ticket. Now you have bought the ticket in advance. You have taken her to what's the new movie which is coming the theatre? कौन सी name पिक्चर लगी है? Whatever is the new movie which is coming.
Who's not returned?
Who?
Who's not returned?
Acha, who's not written? Okay, I think that would be a very lovely picture to watch on a candlelight dinner. Okay, then a wife would be very when she gets scared, she can hold you and hug you very firmly. Okay, so jokes apart, now suppose you have been to the theatre, you have taken her, now after watching the movie, you are coming. Now the movie is over, what would you do? You have got the ticket, you have seen the movie is over, what would you do?
Take her back. Take her back.
Take her back home. But would you say because you have paid that 900 and 900 rupees, 1800 rupees, you have booked the ticket, you have taken that seat for about a month? That's for a day. That's only for a show. So, in whatever effort you have done, 900 was only for a show for 3 hours. So, whatever effort you have done, that's over. Forget about it. Think about the next moment. Why should you get to stick to that? Are you trying to understand what am I trying to do it? See, your question of egos or all those sacrifices कहाँ matter करता है आज की life में? और क्यों आपको इतना करना है? See, I would say the moment I'll think about egos, obviously I think, okay, वो जब तक नहीं आएगी मैं तो उससे बात नहीं करूँगी. भाई वो नहीं आएगी, वो 15 दिन तक नहीं आएगी, वो मेरे को अच्छी चाय की बजाय कड़वी कड़वी चाय बना के पिलाएगी, मेरे को खाना ही नहीं ढंग के देगी, तो मेरा मूड कैसे ठीक होएगा? Tell me that. So see, always think, that's why I said your laughter quotient plays a tremendous role. आपको सिर्फ वो लफ्ज लग रहा है, आप खाली 2 बार मुस्कुरा के देखिए उसके साथ, उसी मोमेंट में. Your sexual pattern would change. I can vouch on that. I got people who can claim me on the net, on the feedback channel. The whole pattern of your sexual health would change. Because it's always, okay, हमारा इंडियन सोसाइटी पहले जो एक था ना कि रेसिप्रोकेशन, सरेंडर एंड ऑल दैट वाज ऑल बिकम bullshit. Like you give me this much, I'll give you this much. You give me this much, I'll give you this much. It has become like give and take, give and take. But even give and take is fine if it's with a mutual agreement without any sort of hatred. But when you do this way, when you are laughing, it comes from the heart. Laughing does not come from the mind. Laughing, you cannot think and okay, I'll look at you, I'll plan my smile and then I'll do. Nothing, no, never ever. I don't know if anybody is smart enough to plan his laugh or a smile and then do it. Is it possible? For me, it's impossible. If I laugh from my heart. If I don't laugh, I don't laugh. Do you get it? So anything which comes from the heart, how would you have it from the heart? If you are not in tune with the person, if I'm laughing with you, how can then I come and say, hey, come on, give me my purse? How can I shout at you? The moment you laugh at person, that discrepancy or arguments are over. That's a thing of the past. See in the morning what lovely breakfast you get. See in the evening what lovely, extra special, menus would be served to you. So it's a whole question of, let me give you one example. Now you are looking out for a very big project in your company or any company. What would you do? If you're looking out for a big project of a company or whatever it is, what would you do to get that? What would you do to get that? You try to please the owner, give him the proper substantial quotation regarding that particular thing and all. But it is possible आपने सब कुछ अच्छा किया है, लेकिन आप जब कोई प्रोजेक्ट लेके उसके ओनर की या जो एमडी से मिलने जा रहे हैं, आप वहाँ पे जाके बोलोगे, this is my project, please take it and give me the thing. Would you any time, any person, no matter how good your project is or how reliable or how reasonable your quotation are, would he any time agree to it? Anybody would agree to it. Is it possible? So see, sexual health is nothing but it's a mutual understanding, and it's a mutual understanding day and night. दिन में आप लड़ाई कर रहे हो, दिन में आप उसकी बात नहीं सुन रहे हैं, how do you expect her to come out of the bed like a Sati Savitri and serve you like anything? It's a mutual understanding. Understand, if you are a human, she is a human too. You have needs, you have desire. She has also desire, probably being a woman, being under that subjugation. Oh, you should not be raising your hand, you should not be giving your complaints, you should try to serve your husband, see to it that all his needs are all that craft which you have in your Indian society. So if you're not doing that, don't let it be. Let this be a moment of joy. Let this be a moment of happiness. Let this be a moment for happiness for both of you, not only for you. Do you get it? And that comes only with one thing, one simple thing. I'm not asking you to meditate every day for 45 minutes or get into any sort of transitional medicines or Tai Chi or any sort of spiritual discourses or doing everything. जब तक आप 45 minutes हर रोज walk पे नहीं जाओगे, आपका ये नहीं सुधरेगा, आपका वो नहीं, कुछ नहीं है. See, everything comes from your. We say, there's a very famous I would say, I put it this way, the words are nothing but seeds. Okay, and they get implanted in our heart. And every time you have an argument, it gets diversified into it gets beneath and beneath. which होते ना अंदर parasites में होते, अंदर ही अंदर वो जड़ें होती ना, वो नफरत की या वो misunderstanding की जड़ें अंदर ही अंदर फैलती जाती हैं. Why do you want that misunderstanding? Why don't you want to have grow the seed into a full grown tree like a mango or a coconut? We should giving you enough shade, we should give you light, we should make you comfortable, we should be there with you in each and every circumstances of your life. Isn't it true? And what do you need to do that? You don't have to pay anything, you don't need to put in any extra effort. Just give a smile. Okay, हर रोज मत करो, हफ्ते में एक दिन एक संडे दे दो. अगर आपको इतना डिफिकल्ट लग रहा है, Sunday you are relaxed, whole day you have seen movie, whole day you have been on the sports channels and all, that would be pretty easier for you. Isn't it true? So it's simple stories, okay? But the problem is that nowadays we are involved into such everything needs to have a very tricky and a rosy pathway. जब तक उसमें वो नहीं आएगा, अगर आपको वेट लॉस करना है, जब तक आप अंजलि मुखर्जी से 15,000 का पैकेज नहीं लोगे, जब तक आप मिकी मेहता से 2 साल का पैकेज नहीं लोगे, nothing works. See, the nature has made you all independent of all sort of roots or evils. The only thing is that what we got to be doing it, I said listen to yourself. Give yourself some time. Listen to yourself. Listen to what your guts tell you. Listen to what your heart tells you. And then take a decision. And in most of the time, probably after getting in and out, you would have never thought about it. Oh, this is a thing I should not have done, and this is not good, or this is not bad. It's just in and out. That's it. Nothing else. We are so much even scared to even think about it in the past or the future. Think about it. Think it over length. And then listen to you what happened when you reciprocated certain position. What happens when certain time when you were together? What were the incident? What was the outcome? How good or how bad you felt after that? That itself will give you your parameters. And you don't need to go for finding out a test. Okay, I want to increase my sperm count, or I want to go for this particular procedure or that particular because my sexual desire is in or my sexual desire is out. Everything. God has given us a beautiful system which is called your immunity, which we call it pran, which we call it the essential vital force. It all guides us what and where to do what. We don't need to इसको यहाँ पे उसका कोई चैनल नहीं होता कि आपने यहाँ से ऑफ कर दिया, यहाँ से ऑन कर दिया, यहाँ से इसको कम कर दिया, यहाँ से. It's not like you're easy. The more you get in tune to yourself, the more you listen to yourself. First listen to yourself, then listen to your partner. Let's sit down mutually and listen with each other. I don't think there is any problem which cannot be solved. Actual, if it would be related with this issue. Because it is always lack of communication is there, but lack of communication when you are doing it something differently, he is doing it something differently, and both of them are not sitting down at the same time to understand what exactly is the issue. Is it understood? Okay? You would not be tackling, Haji, would you?
In spite of all efforts by one partner, the other partner is not relenting. What is the solution?
So you sit and talk to her, now what exactly is the issue about it? See, sometimes it happens, it's not reciprocated. That means there is something wrong which has occurred in the past. There is an incident which has put her off completely. So you need to define her cycle of that.
See, it boils down to one thing. Both of them should respectively sacrifice their egos. Then things will be. I will emphasize on egos. That is the main thing coming in the way of all these problems. I am something, you are something. She will say I am something. That is the beginning of the end. That's what.
That's it. You don't have any other answer. You have to just just see. You can't raise you can't stop your ego. You just have to be just. It's like you are having lots of problems, but what you do, you go to a movie. The moment you are there in the movie, you forget about what is the problem. You get it? So mutually just spending some good moments, having good time together with each other, which gradually help you to lessen that
But not only ego, but even the society, the culture also affects, especially Indian and Japanese society. Women are not supposed to move, not supposed to move, not supposed to.
That's true, but see, if the movements are not moving, if you're a wise guy, you know how to make your move and when and how to do it. You know your girl that well.
But especially in Indian and Japanese society,
I know it's a very conservative society. It's very odd. I think it's very odd. I think now the times are changing, but still it's very odd for a woman to ask a man now. Still. That's true.
Like Bombay, okay. You go out to Bombay, you find quite a lot of this.
Yeah, it's like Bombay is more cosmos, so you find here a little bit of culture change. Otherwise, rest of the country, we go to a village and all people will chuck you out. What this girl is doing, totally shameable act, she need to be stoned or something like that. So that's not there. See, my point is that whenever there is, whether you talk about ego or anything, the problem is in tune. Now, in tuning would happen between what? There are two people only involved. Na? So, या तो फिर आप ऐसे ही करो कि you keep on listening, like you know, either you be just a listener, let her only do the speaking. Do you get it? Difference इसके अलावा कोई कुछ नहीं होता. See, what's your issue? You can discuss with your kid. You would not like to involve, and that's obviously your personal matter. See, kids, whatever it is, see, it's a decision. If I have a aching egg, I have to get the cure out of it. Now, how can I get the other person? He will feel sympathetic. What else he can do? So it's between two people, and the problem is again tuning. And tuning would come only with, like you know, with being together, being more considerate with each other, being like you know more and more like you know time and the efforts with each other. I would say you said your ego levels are like you know so high that the only thing is that normally in a circumstance where you would take like you know 1 or 3 like you know attempt to go for a particular thing, you may need to do it like you know maybe 10 times. But gradually you need to decrease the distance. How far you can do it like you know like that again and again. Either you decrease the distance or I would say simple, find the other partner. What else to do? यही दो options होते हैं. इसके अलावा और कुछ नहीं हो सकता है. Okay? So this is the thing we need to be concentrate upon, and we need to be just clear about one thing. Sexual health is as like you know fundamental for your well-being as your physical health. So as you can't leave like you know your diet, your walk, your yoga, because that will take care of your physical part, your like you know your cholesterol level, your like you know creatine level and the other part. So same way, if you are not like you know tackling the issue which is existing in your life today, you know what would happen? And tomorrow over the years that will like you know that panic, the trauma, that the stress, but sooner or later get you into the all this fear of diabetic, then this and that, heart and kidney and everything, and ultimately who would be the sufferer? Even if you all will come together, you all would be in a position to do what? Nothing. So enjoy the moment, enjoy for like you know what your life has like you know given you, and try to find out. I would always like you know I have always told people whenever I start my session, I always try to be. I said I would not tell you what exactly it is, and so I don't like to read the question because everybody has read the question. Otherwise, if you have listened to the other lecturer or other the speaker, everybody would define, okay, this is the topic, it means this. I said everybody has a different definition to define whatever you want. My point is not to look at the question, you all have come here what? To find out the answer. And I try to give you this in the most simplest, in the most lucid, and without going for any sort of medication, spiritual, surgery or any sort of thing. Because nature has given, he has given us like you know the best laws for living. If today we are having a problem because we have not taken nature for granted. If earlier at your father's age, at your grandfather's age, they could perform till 70, why we are not in a position to perform at 40s? Because we have toxinated our body. Because our body have been toxinated so much. So you have to got to free this. Once you free this, the body is also released, and then like you know taking care of your health, physical health, sexual health will be nothing but a child's play. So with this I wind it up. Thanks a lot for being here. If there are any questions you can give, or otherwise